I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, the place where y'all come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and an overall positive message. I'm your host, DJ. And man, today I just want to talk about a decision that I made. It was a very scary decision, but I decided to quit my job. I don't know what's next for me, but I'm trying. It's been better. But as a lot of you know from the last episode, I've been trying to do better with having faith that things are going to get better and giving my problems to God and trusting God with those problems and not worrying about them. So every single day, I'm having to give it to him every single day because I'm just not in a place where, I can just give it to him and then be done with it. I don't think about it. It's in his hands. So, just every single day I'm getting up and I'm praying again. So one of the decisions that I came to was just, this job is just letting it go. I don't know what's next. I don't know if this was the best decision, the smartest decision. I honestly don't know, but it was a decision that I had to make for my health, for my mental health, just to avoid from going off on people or going crazy. I don't even know what could have happened, but it was a decision that, after talking to my family, and just it was a decision that was best for me at this moment. So, and just trusting that things are going to work out. Obviously, I still have to put the work in, still have to do my part to make sure that it works out, but just trusting that everything is going to be okay and everything is going to fall into place when it's supposed to. But yeah, it was a scary decision to make. And as we talked about before, that fear can hold you back, and it's so hard to conquer that fear, to take that leap of faith or to walk in faith or to take that next step into the unknown when you're not sure what your next move is going to be. But if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to get what you've always gotten. And how we've talked about how we want our floor to be at a certain level. We never want that floor to drop. And so me quitting this job was definitely me taking that step, because who's to say my next job isn't worse? But even if it is, I had to let that job go, because it was starting to mess with my mental way too much. But it is scary because, again, I knew where my floor was with that job. So every single day that I woke up and I went, no matter how bad it was always within a certain level. I knew where the floor was. And, because of that, I also knew where the ceiling was. And it was just getting to the point to where the ceiling was just getting lower and lower and lower. And I just didn't have any more. It just felt like I didn't have any more room to breathe. So I just had to make a decision. And, my mama always talks about how, God gonna make you uncomfortable until, you to make that move. And I'm hoping that that's what this was just me being uncomfortable enough, me getting to the point where, I was just, the discomfort was so much that I just had to make a move. I had to let it go and, change my direction, make a pivot. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and act like it isn't scary, because I don't know. I don't know what the next move is. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm trusting, I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm doing my best to give it to God every single day that something better is going to come, even if it's not the next job. Maybe it's the job after this next job, but something better is going to come, and I'm going to find my place. I'm going to find my purpose. I'm going to find my thing, even if that's, doing more of the podcasting thing and just really giving myself and my podcast the opportunity to really grow by really investing in the podcast, really investing in trying to do interviews and trying to do collabs with people. I don't know if that's the answer, but what I do know is I want to at least try, give it a real chance to see if it could be the answer. But yeah, it is scary. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I was talking to a couple of my friends about it, And they were just saying the same thing, like, man, I don't see how you did it. I couldn't do it. And I'm just like, I understand, because that fear, it grabs a hold of you. And we always assume the worst. We always assume that the worst thing that could happen is going to be the thing that happens. We always assume that we're not going to be the ones who win after making a decision that everybody thinks is a bad decision. We always think that we're going to be the ones who lose. And when we hear other people's success stories, oh, that's never going to be us. We're going to be the ones who quit our job and end up homeless. And so we were talking about that, and that's just real. That's the way a lot of us think. That's the way that thinking kept me at the job way longer than I probably should have been. Kept me at a lot of jobs, or kept me from doing a lot of things that I wanted to do. I was getting my hair cut the other day, and I would just remember 10, 15 years ago I um when I had an opportunity to go to a class, and to go to school to get the barbering license. I don't know what the right thing is, but I remember thinking about doing it. I remember getting all my paperwork together, my social security card, all of that, going up there and just being up there waiting to do my interview or whatever I was supposed to be doing. And, just letting my fear get the best of me. Like, I'm in there, I'm looking at, them, because one side was for the barbers, the other side was for the salon. So, I'm on the salon side, just waiting to talk to whoever I needed to talk to. And fear, just getting in my head too much, my mind telling me everything that could go wrong, everything that's going to go wrong, why it won't work, why it's so impossible. I can't remember how long it was going to be, but whatever it was, that's way too long. Just 100 reasons why it wasn't going to work, and I let it get the best of me, and I ended up leaving. And so I look back at so many things. I know I've been on here and I've talked about how easily I gave up on myself, how easily I quit on things, but that's just another example of it. So I've let my fear control me my entire life. So to finally be trying to do something different and not let my fear control me is very nerve wracking. And I think that that's one of the reasons why it was so hard in the beginning to finally say, hey, let me do the podcast. Let me turn this camera on. Let me start talking. Let me start telling my story. Let me start talking about therapy and things. That's why it was so hard, because it's so easy to listen to your fear. You know what I'm saying? Your fear is everywhere. It's hard to fight through those things. It's hard to conquer that fear. It's hard to ignore the noise, because again, you see so many people talk about how, man, I just quit my job and I devoted everything to this. And when you hear them say that, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, it's just like, yeah, but I'll be the one. Yeah, but I'll be the one who it don't work out, or whatever the case. And I tell myself that, and I believe it, because I've heard it for so long. I've heard that inner voice telling me why I won't be successful, why I won't be able to do this, why this won't work, whatever, that you start to believe it. And it's like that becomes your default setting, is just to be negative, and not only negative for yourself, but negative for the people around you. And so now I'm putting my limitations on other people. So when a friend may be coming up to me excited about something because because I believe that I wouldn't be able to do it, now I'm sitting here being negative towards them, or just not as positive as I should be, not as supportive as I should be. I may not be telling them, hey, you can't do it, hey, you can't be successful, but I'm also not saying, hey, man, go for it, and keep trying. And even if it don't work, or just not even bringing that up, just telling them, go for it, you're gonna do great, you're gonna be successful, all of those things. And it was just affecting me, because that just became my default. It was just the negative voices in my head, and why I couldn't do something, or why I couldn't be something, or why something wouldn't work, or this is going to take too long, or this is going to take too much money. Whatever negative thoughts I could think of, I just latched onto them, because that was the easiest thing. I felt good. It helped me to feel good about running away or quitting. You know what I'm saying? It felt good to rationalize my fear, rationalize me wanting to quit, me wanting to stop, and so you hold on to those things because it don't make you feel bad, it don't make you feel terrible for giving up on yourself or for quitting on yourself or for not giving enough or for not caring about yourself enough to get up and do the things that you need to be doing, the things that you want to do. So you hold on tight to that fear because again, it just makes you feel better about the decisions that you're making. And it's the only thing that you can hold on to when to keep you from drowning in, like despair or, depression, whatever the case may be, because it's like, it's something, especially let's just say it's college and 4 years go by and you're still in the same place you were 4 years ago, or maybe even a worse place, or maybe a slightly better place. And you realize, man, in this time frame, I could have stuck to what I needed to be doing. Yes, it would have been hard work, but I would potentially be further along than what I am now. And so instead of thinking about that, you just thinking about, oh, well, it was going to be too hard, or I didn't have the time, whatever excuses you were telling yourself at the time that you made the decision is the excuses that you hold on to. But the danger with that is what happened with me is that becomes your natural default. Now you don't know how to get out of that. Now you don't know how to get out of that quicksand of those negative thoughts and those excuses. So even when you want to try something new, you're naturally going to think of the negative things and how anything can go wrong. And once that thing does go wrong, now you're ready to give up because it's like once one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. Or once that one thing goes wrong, there's no way that you can make things right. There's no way to make up for that thing that just went wrong. So in your head, well, in my head, everything just starts to fall apart. And so it's so easy to give up on things once, that negative thing happens or once that bad thing happens, because in my head, now everything's going to go wrong. Instead of me looking at it as this one thing in this one area may have not gone the way I wanted to go, but it's still working. The train, the car, whatever is still moving. I still can move forward. I let the fear grab a hold of me so much that I just get immobilized. I get paralyzed, and it's like I can't do anything, and I start to feel trapped in this thing of fear, and to the point to where the only thing that'll give me any type of ease, any type of relaxation is to just give up. So the fact that I'm doing this is a little nerve-wracking. It is a little scary, but I'm going into it with the best of hopes, the best of thoughts that something positive is going to come from this. Even like I said, even if it's not the next direct thing that happens for me, it may be 2, 3 moves down the line. But I know, at least I'm trusting that I'm moving in the right direction with this decision that I've made, which wasn't an easy decision. It's not like it was a terrible job. It's just a lot of things there. A lot of the people there were just putting me in spaces mentally that I just don't want to be in, or that I know I can't stay in. And so it was just been a fight. It's literally been a fight for the past 6 months of getting up and going to work. It has been a struggle. I would much rather go to the gym and do everything that I need to do there and just come home. Like the fight, it used to be the opposite. It used to be I had to fight to get up to go to the gym, man, and then just go to work. Now I get up and go to the gym, or at least for the past 6 months, I would get up and go to the gym. And then when I come home, I'm fighting to come up with a reason of why I need to go to work, and it just was putting me in a bad mental space. And I know me well enough to know that if I would have stayed there in that space, I would have gone off on certain people. And I know, again, all the work that I've been putting in, I just it just wasn't the best thing for me. It just wasn't. So staying there wasn't the best thing. So as scared as I may be right now, as tough as the decision may be, looking back on it now, I trust that where I'm getting ready to go and what I'm getting ready to do is where I'm supposed to be. This is the direction I'm supposed to be going. These are the things that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing my best to stay confident in the fact that I'm getting ready to find my purpose or to find something, because like right now I just feel like I'm just going through the motions. Every day just feels like I'm just going through the motions. Nothing really is exciting me. Nothing is really driving me, motivating me, pushing me. But I'm also not trying to find the motivation either. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you no lie. I'm not trying to find the motivation. I'm not trying to find the push. There are days when even getting up and recording, feels like pulling teeth at times, because it's just, I don't know, it's just not there. The passion, the whatever it is that you need, that drive, that whatever it is, I just don't have it. And I don't know if I talked about it on the last episode, but my mom asked me, is the job still in my joy? And I was just like, honestly, I don't even know if I have any joy for the job to steal. And I don't know if it was because of the job or if, just because of where I am in life or this hamster wheel that I feel like I'm in. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the job that helped get me here, if it was just me getting here on my own and the job just didn't make it any better. I don't know. But, I do feel a lot better mentally now that I've let it go. I've been done for about a week now. Yeah, it's been about a week. It's been a week. And so, just had time to clear my head, kind of get out of that negative space mentally, or as negative a space that I was in mentally, and been able to just reassess some things and just realize that, number one, that life is nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. And yes, it was a grind to have to get up, but I don't have to I don't have to stay in that space. I can let that go and move on, get ready to move on to the next chapter in my life instead of staying in that space that I've been in, or, doing what I normally do, which is again staying in that space of whatever, was bothering me, staying there mentally and emotionally, being stuck in that space. So this week is just giving me time to kind of just decompress and to start letting some things go little by little, some frustration, things that annoyed me, kind of allowed me to kind of get back to spending a little bit more time in the gym, because I always go in the morning before I go to work. So now that I haven't had to work, it's allowed me to just kind of slow down a little bit in the gym and spend a little bit more time in the gym. And the reason why I go in the morning is because I know that I won't feel like doing anything after work, in the afternoon. And maybe that is more of a reason to go. I honestly don't know. But yeah, so, just kind of trying out new exercises, new things in the gym, and sparking that kind of excitement in my life. And honestly, starting to think about actually recording my weight loss journey. So again, another thing that I'm kind of where the fear is crippling me of, doing that, putting my gym journey out there. Like, the thoughts sound so attractive, but actually getting the nerves to do it is something totally different for me. So again, not saying that I would do it, or I wouldn't do it, but just it's going to be a mental process, a mental tug of war for me, because I think the idea sounds amazing, but again, the fear just even now, just it's just very crippling. But hopefully, actually saying it out loud on the show will actually push me to just say, hey, you know, why not go for it? You know, why not do it? So never know. So potentially be on the lookout for that. You know, you just never know. But yeah, man, that fear is something ridiculous. Now the great thing about, again, the people that I have around me is they've been supportive. You know, everybody that I've talked to have been saying the same things, like you're going to find something great. You're going to you're going to start doing the recording your gym stuff, you know, just being nothing but supportive, nothing but great. And so I'm thankful for that, and I'm appreciative of that, because that does mean a lot to me to hear, you know, the people around me support me, and, you know, not tear me down about maybe it's a decision that they wouldn't have made, but just understanding, or at least trying to understand where I'm coming from. And it's been great for me. So again, that may be, as far as the me recording the gym stuff, that may be something that's coming. I can't say for sure whether or not it is, but just knowing that I have people supporting me and pushing me as well, not just supporting me, but also pushing me to do it. Um, it's a great feeling. You know, it's a great feeling to know that you have people who want to see the best for you. And it helps me to realize that, you know, I can lean on, you know, my people, and I should be leaning on them more. And so that's another thing that I'm just kind of realizing, that I got to start leaning up. But it's so hard. Well, I won't say it's so hard, but life can come at you fast. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, you in a funk and don't even realize that you're in that funk. You don't even realize that, you know, you've kind of started to distance yourself from people, or you don't talk as much, or you're not as vibrant, you're not as loud as you once were. You know, that you started to shrink into your shell because of everything that you're going through, and you're going through it in your head. So in my mind, I feel like I'm being myself, but in reality, I'm so absorbed in what's going on in my head that I'm not paying attention to anything else. So, you know, you need those people to kind of, you know, check on you, and kind of snap you back to reality, and what you have going on, because life can be a lot. Life is a lot, you know, and trying to do life by yourself it puts even more on you. So, you know, I'm understanding the importance of having that village, having that team, having support around you, because it isn't the easiest thing when you're going through something, especially if you're not used to having people around you, you're not used to having that support and that trust system around you. So to go from that to now trying to have people around you, it's not easy to openly share things, you know, and you become an expert at hiding stuff. You become an expert at, you know, hiding all the frustration, hiding all the pain, hiding all the whatever that you're going through. You just get very good at hiding it, you know, putting on that smile and saying the right things and doing the right things, that you kind of convince yourself that everything is okay, when on the inside you're really hurting, or on the inside you're going through some stuff mentally and emotionally, but you don't know how to ask for help because you're not used to it, or the one time in the past when you did, nobody was there, and now that makes you feel like you can't ask for help, or you shouldn't ask for help. You should be doing it on your own because you can only trust yourself, and, you know, just so on and so forth, how that goes, how you can fall into that trap of thinking that you got to do it on your own, or you're less than if you got to ask for help, or you're weak if you can't handle this because you see other people handling it, but you don't know what type of help those people are getting. You don't know what type of you know, assistance those individuals may be getting. Like, yes, you don't see it, but you don't know what they got going on behind the scenes, because you're not with them 24/7. And, and I just had to realize that, everything ain't, you're not meant to do everything by yourself. You're not meant to go through everything alone. It's okay to have people. It's good. It's great to have people there who care enough about you to want to see you succeed, and who don't want to see you hurt, who want to be there to help you. And so you got to lean on that. You got to lean into that. But I also understand how hard it is when you've gone your whole life without doing it, or with doing it as least as possible, especially in your personal life. It's one thing if I'm trying to lift something and I realize I can't lift it by myself, I go ask for help. That's one thing. But when I'm going through something mentally, I'm going through something emotionally, and now I need to break that down to somebody who might, you know what I'm saying? And then you thinking about, okay, well, this person's going through something. Um, how can I sit here and complain when this person's going through that? And it's just like, you can't worry about that. Like if you need your people, you need your people. You know what I'm saying? I understand people are that your people may be going through things themselves, but when you need them, man. If they got time, if they can take time out of their day or whatever they're going through to be there for you for a little while, man, appreciate that, accept that, lean into that, ask for that, because you just never know, like what people may be going through, or even if they're going through something, they still may want to be there for you because you mean that much to them, and they care about you that much, and they appreciate you that much that, hey, even though I am going through this, I may not be able to help, but hey, I at least want to be there for you. I at least want you to know that I am here for you, whatever you may be going through, or they may have something that can help you. It may not be any help for what they're going through, but it may help you for what you're going through, but you never know if you never ask. So, man, you got to start asking. But I also understand that fear, bro. Everything comes back to that fear and conquering that fear, because fear will have you not speaking about things that you need to speak about. Fear will have you not moving when you need to move. Fear will have you moving when you need to sit still, man. And it's so crazy how much we let our fear steer our lives and control our lives and control how we move and control our relationships, control our emotions and things like that. So conquering that fear, man, it is not an easy thing, but it's so important in life to get to where you want to be, or to start to be free. You know what I'm saying? I know I've been seeing a lot of people talk about like financial freedom, and that's important. Don't get it twisted. That is important. We got to get free of our emotions too. We got to quit allowing our emotions, especially that fear, to keep us trapped in places we don't need to be in, or places that we've grown out of, you know what I'm saying, are ready to grow out of, ready to push through those things. But, we allowing our fear to tell us we're not there yet, or we're allowing our fear to tell us we're not ready to make that move, or to have that conversation, or whatever the case may be, when we really are. But it's just hard, man. And but we got to trust things. We got to trust the process. We got to trust God. We got to trust timing. And so, man, even if it feels like it's not your time, even if it feels like you're unsure, you just got to trust it, man, and trust everything that comes with it. Everything is not going to be perfect. Understand that you may be on the right path, but your right path doesn't mean that there's no struggle on your right path. Your right path doesn't mean that there's not going to be downfalls or hard times. Your right path, it means that you're headed in the right direction. And yes, there's going to be hard times. There's going to be struggle. There's going to be doubt. There's going to be all of those things, but you got to keep pushing towards those things that you want. And I think that fear makes those hard times even harder. That fear makes that struggle even harder. You know what I'm saying? That fear just makes those things even harder to come back from. So the first thing I think that we got to start doing when we get ready to do new things is just conquer that fear that comes with those new things. The fear of failure, the fear of not being successful, the fear of whatever I'm going towards not being better than what I just left, or whatever the case may be, man. It's fear for all types of things that go in all types of directions. But we got to start learning. I have to start learning to let go of that fear and trust God, trust the process. But it's an everyday battle. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like no different than, battling addiction. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday battle. You know, when you wake up, you got to choose whatever it is besides fear. You have to choose God. You have to choose to trust. You got to choose faith. You got to choose these things every single day instead of choosing fear. And I know that it's not an easy thing because fear is what we're used to. Fear is what feels so familiar, and that's okay. But we got to stop choosing fear and start choosing faith, start choosing trust, start choosing God. And I know it ain't going to be easy, but it's something that we got to start doing, man. Myself included, man. So I'm going to say me. That's something that I have to start doing. But that's it for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for listening on whatever platforms y'all are listening to the podcast on. I appreciate y'all. And to everybody watching on YouTube, I want to thank y'all. Please continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time we meet, y'all already know, stay blessed.